All right, 12-2 is surface area and volume of cylinders and cones. So our cylinders are going to remind us of a can of soda or a can of vegetables. And our cones are going to be just that, an ice cream cone. For cylinders, we're over here. We need radius and height. When we're talking about our cones, we also need radius and height, and sometimes we need this length right here. So let's just get started with some examples. So find the volume, lateral area, and surface area of the following figure. So volume, same thing. I'm going to write out everything that I have. R is 14, H is 18. So our volume is pi r squared times 18. I go to the calculator. I got a whole bunch of stuff here. I just need to clean all this out. And now I'm going to type in pi parentheses 14 squared parentheses 18. So volume. So here's the thing. If it wants the exact volume in terms of pi, it would be 3,528 pi, or you would add that pi just like we were doing with circles, and volume would be, this was 11,083 point, does it tell me what to round to? Nope. So I'm going to say 0.5. Lateral area is 2 pi. R is 14. H is 18. So 2 times 14 times 18. That would give me the exact volume. Remember, at the end, I'm going to add the pi. If it wants it rounded, I'll just put pi there. So these are pretty straightforward. You're just going to be typing stuff in. Surface area is 2 pi r squared. So I'm going to square that 14 plus the lateral area. So this is my lateral area. So I can just say plus 504 pi, add those together. Whoa, that's not what I meant to happen. So I would say 2 times 14 squared is 392 pi. So 392 plus 504 would be 896 pi. Or if they wanted the rounded one, it would be 2814.9. So you really just have to read your question carefully, because sometimes it's going to want it in terms of pi, and sometimes it's just going to want you to round it. So for the rest of the problems, I'm just going to type in the pi and give you these answers rounded. Find the volume, lateral area, and surface area of the following figure. Okay, so for this figure, it gives me 9.6. Now, from my recollection, 9.6 looks like the diameter. So the radius would be half of 9.6. So let's just clean some of this out, start fresh. 9.6 divided by 2 is 4.8. So the radius is 4.8. Also, this figure looks like a wheel. Looks like it's going to roll away from me. So that means that the height is the 3.4. So you've got to flip these figures around and make them look like your formulas. So volume, pi, radius squared, times the h, which is 3.4. Lateral area is 2 pi radius times the height. And then surface area is 2 pi, the r squared. That looks like I got 2 decimals. Let's make that look a little bit better. And then the lateral area again. So another 2 pi, r is 4.8, and then the h is 3.4. So I'm going to pull out the calculator and type these in. So the first one, pi times 4.8 squared times 3.4. So this would be 246.1. The next one, 2 times pi times 4.8 times 3.4. 102.54. Now, here and here is the same thing. So what I'm going to do is put these in parentheses, and then I'm going to add a plus sign, and then I'm going to add another parenthesis, and I'm going to type what I'm missing here. And I'm going to get, oh, I don't want the highlighter, 247.3. So there's volume, lateral area, surface area. All right. So now let's move on to a cone. Cone can pretty much be the same thing, except sometimes I need to label my pieces. So find the volume, lateral area, and surface area of the following figure if the diameter is 12 and the altitude is 6. So the altitude is the height. Usually when we talk about the terms altitude, we're talking about climbing a mountain. And so you climb to the mountain is however many thousands of feet high. So our h is 6. The diameter is 12. And again, if we need the radius, we have to divide the diameter by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. Our h is 6. And then we need this L. I don't have the L. But what do I have? Over here in pink. Oh my gosh, I've got a right triangle. So, Pythagorean theorem tells me x squared will be 6 squared plus 6 squared. So, x squared equals 6 squared plus 6 squared x will be 8.485. And I'm going to use that whole decimal till the very end when I round. So L is 8.485. So now, substituting everything in. Volume is 1/3 pi. R is 6 squared. H is 6. Lateral area. Pi. R is 6. L is 8.485. Surface area. There's so many of these little pieces to do, I kind of get lost at what I'm doing. So R squared plus pi R L. Whew. Again, I'm just waiting till the end to type all of this in. So 1 divided by 3. Oh, divided by, I can't type today. Times pi times 6 squared times 6. 22.6.2. The next one is pi times 6 times 8.485. That's 159.9. And then the last one. So again, there's my lateral area. So I'm just going to say that's in parentheses. And then at the end, I'm going to add this pi times 6 squared. And I'm going to put this in parentheses too to make sure the calculator does exactly what I want it to do. 0.4 if we wanted to take it out that far. Okay. I'm going to skip the next example. It's the same thing that I just did. You're just substituting the values. I will say that R on this one is 5. H on this one is what I don't have, but I do have the L, which is 13. So this time when I use Pythagorean theorem, all right, I'm finding that. So 13 squared equals x squared plus 5 squared. You type that in, you solve for x, and then you're just going to substitute the same things in again. I want to go to this last example where I have 2 different figures that I'm putting together. All right, so let's see. I have a cone on the top, and then I have a cylinder. Well, the bottom of the cone and the cylinder are going to have the same shape because they're part of the same figure. So the R is going to be a 1. Okay? The height right here is 2. That means from this cone to here is a 2. All right, so my H up here is a 2. And now the radius is 1. So now when I find the L, that's the L, I'm going to say L squared equals 2 squared plus 1 squared. So let's go over here, and x squared equals 2 squared plus 1 squared. We get L equals 2.236. All right. And so I'm only trying to find the volume. So let's think about this. I'm going to use the volume of the cone, which is 1/3 pi r squared h, and the volume of the cylinder. All right. So 1/3 pi, what's r squared? R is 1. What's h? H is 2 plus pi. R squared is still 1 squared, but now when I look at this h, that's this height. And we have to do some subtraction to figure that out. If the whole thing is 13 and the top part is 2, then what's this blue highlighted? Oh, what's this blue highlighted part? That'd be 13 minus 2. So 13 minus 2 is going to give me an 11. So right here at the end, I tack on an 11. And daggone it, it did that again. So now, I need to type this into the calculator. So 1 divided by 3 times pi times 1 squared times 2. And I want all of this I want to make sure all of this happens first. And then I'm going to add pi times 1 squared times that's not an 11. Now I want the parentheses. So the volume is 36.7. So you got to stop and think about what you're actually doing when you've got more than one figure combined.